You are 10 years old, and you know the sound of the fight before it has any words. The low one first, your father's voice, like furniture being dragged across a floor in another room. Then your mother's voice climbs on top of it, higher and faster, and you open your eyes in the dark, and you are awake the way you are only ever awake at night. There is a strip of light under your door. You learn to read it like a face. When the light is still, they are only talking. When a shadow breaks it in two, someone is pacing, and pacing means it is going to be a long one. You share a wall with the kitchen, so the kitchen is where you do most of your listening. You know it is bad when the talking stops and the cabinet doors start. Open, shut, open, shut. Your mother putting away dishes that are already clean. Your little brother Sam is 5, and he sleeps in the bed across the room, and the only job that is truly yours is that Sam does not wake up. There is one glow-in-the-dark star stuck on the ceiling above your bed, and it has faded to almost nothing, and you lie there staring at where it should be. So you have a system. You keep the lamp off and the closet light on, because the closet light is softer, and because Sam thinks the dark has teeth. When the voices get sharp, you reach over and turn on the little box fan, not because you are hot, but because the fan makes a sound that is bigger than a whisper and smaller than a fight. On the worst nights, you turn on the bathroom fan too, down the hall, and the two of them together make a wall of gray noise you can almost hide inside. You always know where everyone is in the house. It is a map you keep updated in your body, all the time, without ever deciding to. You know which stair creaks. It is the third one from the top, on the left side, and you have not stepped on it in 2 years. You know how to open your door without the click. Turn the handle all the way first, then pull, then let it close like setting down something breakable. You get good at the top of the stairs, lying flat on the landing so the railing posts hide your face, watching the kitchen light spill across the floor below. There is a blue plastic cup you drink your water from. You remember it because you were holding it, filling it at the sink, the night a fight came downstairs, and you froze with the water running over your hand. When a door opens to check on you, you have already turned over and slowed your breathing. You have been pretending to be asleep for so long you can do it in your sleep. You make deals with nobody. If you can brush your teeth before the hall light changes, it will be a calm night. You lose these games constantly, and you keep playing them. It is not every night. That is the part nobody tells you. That it is not every night is almost worse, because you never know which night it will be. At dinner, you become a weather station. You read the sky of them, how he sets down his fork, how long she takes to answer, whether the radio is on. Your stomach learns the schedule before the rest of you does. By 6 o'clock, it is already a fist, every single night, calm or not. You learn that "I'm fine," said in a certain flat voice, means tonight, and you eat fast, so you can get Sam upstairs before it starts. You give Sam his bath early. You read him the dinosaur book even though you both have it memorized, slower than usual, to use up the dangerous hour. Again, Sam says, and you read it again, because as long as you are reading, the night has not started yet. You tuck him in with the rabbit, the one he calls Bear for reasons no one questions, and you leave the closet glowing, and for him this is just bedtime. Your aunt gave you headphones for your birthday, and they are quietly the best thing you own. Tonight it starts over money. It is almost always money, or it is never money, and money is only the door the rest of it walks through. You can't make out the words through the wall, only the shape of them, his low and even and grinding, hers fast and breaking at the edges. You lie on your back and press your hand flat against the wall, and you can feel it when his voice drops lower. The wall hums. You start counting, not the time, the gaps, the seconds of quiet between the loud parts, because the quiet is the only thing that means it might be ending. 1, 2, 3. If you get past 10, it usually means they're done. You almost never get past 10. Tonight you get to 8, and then something hits the kitchen floor and breaks, and the breaking is loud and final, like a period at the end of a sentence. Across the room, Sam stirs. He makes the small sound he makes right before he wakes, and your whole body turns to ice. You are out of bed before you decide to be. You kneel by his bed and put your hand on his back, and you say the thing you always say, very low. It's just the TV, buddy. Go back to sleep. It is not the TV, but you turn the TV on anyway, with the remote you keep under your pillow, and you turn it up until the cartoons are louder than the kitchen. Sam's breathing goes slow again. You did your job. You sit on the floor between his bed and the door, and you guard the rest of the night from there. In the morning, the kitchen is clean. The broken thing is gone, swept and thrown out before anyone is up, like it agreed to keep the secret too. Your mother makes pancakes. She makes pancakes the morning after, always, and you have learned that pancakes are an apology nobody has to say out loud. Your father drinks his coffee and reads his phone and says, "Sleep okay, bud?" And you say, "Yeah." And that is the whole conversation, and it is a kind of treaty. At school, you are tired in a way the other kids are not. You put your head down on the desk, and the teacher thinks you are bored. You watch the easy kids at lunch, the ones who don't listen for anything, who just eat, and you can't explain why it makes your throat tight. You don't tell anyone. There is nothing to tell. Nothing happened. That is the official story, and you are the one who keeps it. You stop asking friends to sleep over. You can't promise them what kind of house they would be sleeping in. One summer the windows were open, and Mrs. Alvarez next door looked at you the next morning with a softness you couldn't stand. You never opened those windows again. Once you stood in the hallway and screamed at both of them to stop. They did, for a second, and the way they looked at you, surprised, like they'd forgotten you could hear, you never did it again. Some mornings you find your mother asleep on the couch with her shoes still on. You put a blanket over her before Sam wakes, and you never mention it, and neither does she. You become very good. You learn the exact volume of voice that keeps things calm at dinner, and you keep your own voice right there. You learn to be funny at the right second, to make Sam laugh and your mother almost laugh, to turn a hard moment soft before it can set. You think that if you are good enough, quiet enough, useful enough, you can hold the whole house up with your two hands. You are 10. You truly believe this is a thing a person can do. And then there are the good days, which are the most confusing of all. A Saturday at the lake, your father laughing, your mother's hand on his shoulder, everyone forgetting. Your father taught you to skip a stone that day. He was patient and proud, and you hated how much you loved it, because it made everything harder to understand. Another time, in the car, your mother cried at a red light and tried to hide it, and you looked out your window and held the wheel of your own face very still. There were silent days too, whole stretches where no one yelled, where the quiet itself was the punishment, and you learned that a quiet house is not the same as a safe one. Even Christmas morning had thin ice under it. You learned to watch for the crack in a day everyone else thought was safe. Then came a stretch of nights in the spring when it stopped being about money and started being about leaving. You heard the word leave come through the wall for the first time, and it did not sound like a threat. It sounded tired. It sounded like a decision. After that, you stopped counting the seconds of quiet. You started listening for a different sound, the front door. Some nights you heard it open and close, and his car back out of the driveway, and you lay there doing math on the headlights, not knowing if he was coming back. He always came back, until the night it got very quiet, very early, and the quiet had a different shape, and you knew before you knew. There was no fight that night. That is the thing you were never ready for, that it would end not with the loudest night, but with a quiet one. You crept to the top of the stairs. You stepped over the third one out of habit, even then, even though there was no one left to hide from. Your mother was sitting at the kitchen table with her coat still on, and by the front door there was a suitcase that was not hers. She saw you on the stairs. She didn't tell you to go back to bed. She just said your name, soft, like she was the kid now. You sat with her. Neither of you said the big thing. She made tea she didn't drink, and you watched the steam stop coming off it. Upstairs, Sam slept through all of it. Sam slept through the end of it. You were almost glad. You had done your one job, all the way to the very last night. He came for the rest of his things on a Tuesday, while you were at school, which is its own kind of answer. The house got quiet after that. Really quiet. The kind of quiet you had been praying for, and it turned out to be the loudest thing in the world. For months your body kept getting ready at 6 o'clock for a fight that wasn't coming anymore. You kept doing the system out of habit. You still turned on the box fan. You still didn't step on the third stair. There was no strip of light under your door anymore, because no one was up late on the other side of it, and you found that you missed it. You missed the light you used to dread. Sam started asking where Dad went. He asked it casually, with his mouth full, the way 5-year-olds ask enormous things. You said, "He's just at his new place, buddy." You had gotten so good at "it's just the TV" that the new lies came easy, and that scared you more than the fighting ever had. You learned to pack a bag every other Friday. You learned which things lived at Dad's and which lived at home, and how it felt to not be sure which one was home. Dad's apartment smelled new and had almost no furniture, and you slept on an air mattress that lost a little air each night, so by morning you were always on the floor. At the handoffs your parents didn't look at each other. You learned to carry the bag yourself, and to be cheerful in the doorway, so no one had to. You were very quiet for a long time. You are not 10 anymore. You are grown, and you live somewhere with walls you checked carefully before you ever signed for it. But some nights you still wake up at nothing, a car door in the street, a neighbor's voice climbing, and you are 10 years old again in the dark, listening with your whole body. You still know where the quiet parts are. You still count them without deciding to. 1, 2, 3. You still walk downstairs like you were getting away with something. In any house, you still know which step would have creaked. When someone raises their voice near you, you go very still and very calm, and people think you are good in a crisis. You just had a lot of practice. You told someone you loved, once, "I just don't like yelling." It was the truest, smallest version of all of it, and it was all you could give away. Sam doesn't remember any of it. He remembers the dinosaur book. He remembers that you read it to him. He thinks his childhood was quiet. Years later, he asked you, out of nowhere, why the TV was always so loud when he was little. You said you couldn't remember. That was the last lie, and you kept it small. And that is the only thing you ever built that stayed standing. You kept the quiet for him so well that, for him, the quiet was real. Sometimes you stand in a dark hallway in your own home, a grown person, and you see a strip of light under a door, and your whole chest goes tight before your mind can catch up. It is only the bathroom light. It is only someone reading late. It is nothing. It is always nothing now. But you stand there a second longer anyway, 10 years old, reading the light like a face, waiting to find out what kind of night it is going to be.